Gabe, Clarence, congratulations. You've made it to the final round of this competition. Now we're sending you back to your home forges, where you will recreate an iconic weapon from history. Make no mistake, gentlemen, this is a tough sword to make. The last time this was issued as a final challenge, one of our competitors did not meet the parameters. That weapon is the Viking sword. From the 8th to 11th century, the Vikings were the scourge of the northern European coast. One of their most effective tools for raiding and pillaging was a Viking sword, a straight-edged iron sword with a rounded tip and double edge. The Viking sword was built to break through an opponent's defenses using big slashing blows. Since the blade was heavy and usually swung with one hand, a large pommel and hilt were used to balance the weight of the blade. Viking swords were often highly prized by their owners and given names such as Battlesnake and Dog of the Helmet. One was featured in the 2007 epic film Beowulf. This is your redemption. This could be your last chance to show the world what you're truly capable of. Good luck, bladesmiths. We'll see you in 5 days.
Best of luck to you.
Best of luck, man. It's day one at my home forge. I suppose it gives me advantages. I've never made a Viking sword before, but I'm feeling confident. It's a coal forge. I made it years ago. This is gonna be something. By the end of the day, I'd like to have the sword at least partially forged. My point established, the bevels forged into place. If I'm halfway down the sword blade and I can finish forging tomorrow, that would be ideal.
We're here at Dragonfly Forge. Today we'll be making a billet out of 2 pieces of forge welded cable, which will cut, twist, weld. The cable has about 200 strands each, so when the 2 are combined, it's gonna be about 400 wires comprising the billet. It'll make a very, very strong blade. Hopefully I can get those 2 put together. That didn't quite go how we wanted. As I was forging the 2 pieces of cable together, the first heat, I couldn't get the forge weld to stick. I just can't get the sweet spot. I need it to be hot enough. It's not getting a full combustion. That's why it's like so much gas that it can't all burn. The next one I got a little hotter and she stuck. The welds look great.
Today, I just want to draw out this bar. I rethought some of the things from yesterday, and I think I was a little rushed. Today, I'm going to take my time, make sure I draw out that bar and get the metal kind of slimmed down, thinner, longer, and that way it'll also be easier to heat. It's hot. I'm tired. I'm not used to being tired from forging. A little bit worried about running out of time. So it's hard to work when you don't have the energy. I'm really worn out. I hope I can get through this.
It's now the start of day 3. Really looking pretty darn good at this stage. The quench is really the make or break point of the blade. It's about ready for the moment of truth. I cannot afford a failure. The absolute worst thing that can happen during a quench is to have a fatal crack. There's no choice but to start over at that point. Pretty damn straight. Looks good. We're over the largest hump of the whole project now.
Day 5. The plan is to finish everything. Grind, put the guard and the handle on, and quench the blade. Working a sword like this by hand, especially it being the first of these that I've done, a lot of difficulties. The quench went all right. We've got quite a bit of bend in here. And I, of course, don't want to snap it. This is really frightening. Got a lot of it out. Ready to finish. Initially, I had a different type of pommel setup that I wanted to do. I'm not gonna have time, so I have to improvise. Well, we made it work. Feels good.
It's now the final day, and I have all the assembly to do. Although there's still a lot to do today, I'm confident I can pull it off. The handle is a two-piece hardwood core over the tang, and that's going to be wrapped in leather. It's a very simple and utilitarian handle design.
Okay, I think that did the trick.
We only have a few hours left, so I'm engraving the Roman numerals 13 on here. 13 is a lucky number in my family. Wouldn't hurt to have a little extra luck. It's time to pack this thing up.
Gentlemen, to test the sharpness of your blade, I'll be cutting into our cargo net here. Now, Gabe, you're up first. Are you ready for this?
Definitely.
All right. Well, Gabe, that blade made pretty short work of that rope net. The weight overall is a nice feel. Definitely did a good job. Definitely a sharp weapon. It felt good cutting. Nicely done, Gabe.
Thank you.
All right, Clarence, your turn. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, so Clarence, a couple of things I really like about this blade. The weight is very nice and the balance is very well done. This big lip in the handle, though, is really not very comfortable on the hand. But your blade did well, cut nicely. Well done.
Bladesmiths, the Viking sword, wielded by the hands of the feared Viking warriors, forged for one purpose: kill the enemy. To see how lethal your weapons are, I will take your Viking sword and deliver killing blows on this ballistics dummy. Let's see what kind of damage your weapon can do. Gabe, you're up first. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. Okay, Gabe, the handle is comfortable with the wrapping that you did there. It feels good. As you can see, it lacerated the chest. The chest cavity here even took out some bones of the ribs. It is sharp on both edges and penetrated easily on this ballistics dummy. And most importantly, it will kill. Good job.
Thank you.
Clarence, you're up next. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Clarence, it feels good to wield. It's got great balance to it. The one thing that it didn't do was cut cleanly through the ballistics dummy. It felt like it was bouncing off, and I wonder if that's your edge geometry here being thick and the sharpness of your blade. But in the cuts that it did do, the weight did penetrate, broke some bones. It penetrated on a deep thrust coming out, and that would be a very lethal wound. And your weapon will kill.
Now, the Viking sword was commonly used in conjunction with a shield, so to test the strength of your sword, I'm going to take 4 blows into these wooden shield edges, 2 with either edge of your blade. Gabe, you're up first. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, so Gabe, still in the same shape it was in. It's good, it's kept its straightness. It feels like your edge held up really nicely. Definitely cut into the shield good. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Clarence, you're up. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, Clarence, your edge held up nicely. That handle still, in my hand, is still a bit of an issue. But swinging it, the weight and the balance is really nice. All in all, well done.
Thank you.
Gabe, Clarence, your road to redemption was a gauntlet. The judges have deliberated and they've made a final decision. The Forged in Fire champion is... Gabe, congratulations. Clarence, please surrender your weapon.
The first time I competed, I wound up out in round 1. This time I've made it through to the finale, so I may not be a Forged in Fire champion, but I have proven to myself that I can go much further than I thought, so there'll be definitely lots more to look forward to.
Gabe, congratulations. You are the Forged in Fire champion and will be receiving that check for 10 grand. That's not redemption. I don't know what is, brother.
Feels so sweet after all that.
I love the dimensions of that blade. It's a great cutter. When I was going through that rope, it just went right through. You definitely know how to put an edge on something.
I feel like I've completely redeemed myself. Feels incredible. Like, I never thought that the title Forged in Fire champion would mean as much as it does to me right now.
Today's competition, you'll be using this. 2 different types of high-carbon steel, which you are required to fuse together with heat to form a Damascus billet. Sounds easy enough, but your road to redemption is about to get a little bit bumpier. From that billet of Damascus, you must forge a signature blade in your signature style that also has a ladder Damascus pattern. Ladder patterns are achieved by cutting grooves into your Damascus billet. Once the grooves are pressed, it is ground flat, removing all of the high spots and then forged to the desired blade shape, revealing a visible ladder pattern. Your 3-hour forge time starts now.
First challenge, overcome Damascus. Second challenge, ladder.
I have never, ever even attempted to do a ladder-style Damascus. So this is gonna be a first for me.
It looks like Brandon is wrapping all of his pieces of steel together with baling wire.
He can do that. That is an old school technique.
It's really interesting that that's what he chose to do, and it seems like welding with the MIG welder would be a lot more secure.
Well, Brandon was here on our last challenge with the coal forge. No electricity or anything. Might be his comfort zone. But in a competition like this, use what's available to you.
I consider myself a purist. I like to do everything by hand, you know, files and hammers. I'm trying to get away from modern technology and go back to the way it was 100, 200, even 1,000 years ago.
Oh! You got JD and Clarence over here working side by side.
You have to get a good weld when you begin. Obviously, that's key. It's got to be a solid piece of steel. I've got everything welded up as good as it needs to be. Time to put it in the forge and have a go at it.
Where making ladder Damascus is concerned, I've actually done this before. I'm certainly as good as some and better than most.
Wow. Man, look at how pretty that all just folded up. That was gorgeous, man.
Origami.
That was amazing. JD over here demonstrating exactly what it means to be a master at Damascus.
Damn it. Son of a bitch.
Brandon struggling with individual pieces of steel, trying to tack them together by forge welding each individual piece. It's time-consuming and hard to watch.
Damn, dude. My welds aren't sticking, my pieces are all over the place. It's similar to nails on the chalkboard and nails in your ears. It's just, damn it, man, come on.
Hey, it held together. Look at that. Standing in front of the forge is quite hot. It's in excess of 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit, plus the fact I've got another one directly at my back, so I'm basically cooking between 2 forges.
Worried a little bit about JD here.
Starting to feel actually a little queasy and unwell.
See, I'm not sure. I'm just fighting staying conscious.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think you need to sit down.
Oh.
This is not an easy competition. It can take its toll. This forge breaks people down, physically and mentally. Clarence, starting to work on his ladder pattern. Gabe is cruising right along. He's over there on the 72-inch belt grinder.
So here's what I'm really amazed by. How much knife Brandon got out of that piece of steel.
I'll be able to do surgery with that thing, but I don't know about chopping ice.
Okay, I gotta get back out there.
I'm feeling well enough that I can go back out, even though I've lost quite a bit of time. I'm determined to get this piece done.
You have only 30 minutes remaining to turn in your ladder Damascus blades. Gabe's in the quench.
Brandon just quenched.
JD quenched.
Oh, JD quenched.
He's made a hell of a comeback. Boom, Clarence is quenched. All right. Gotta remember to acid edge. You don't want to see any of these redemption challengers go home on a technicality.
That exposed pattern, we need to be able to see it.
I made a fairly low layer Damascus billet, and so once you put it in the etch, that thing just is black and white contrast in a very bold pattern. Nothing too subtle about that pattern.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your forging time has ended. Well, Bladesmiths, that was a hell of a round. Now it's time for the judges to take a closer look at your work. Gabe, you're up first.
Blade shape's neat. I've always loved that barong shape. All in all, feels real good, that ladder pattern, very subtle, but I think those low layer count Damascus can be really dramatic. I think you did a great job.
Clarence, you're up. Please present your blade to the judges.
Clarence, you have a really nice looking pattern going on here. How many layers do you have?
I think it was around 20.
Uh-huh.
And then I folded it 3 times, so around 60 is what I imagine.
Have you ever done that before?
I haven't done that, no.
JD, you know the deal.
Well, sir, it's a big blade with a lot of meat in it still. At this point, it's a little bit heavy, but of course, it can be addressed in the second round. What you've done over here, you can already start to see the chatoyancy, the tight welds of your blade. And to me, that was a pleasure to watch, sir. Thank you.
Brandon, you're up. Please present your blade to the judges.
It is very thin, very, very thin. And how many layers did you use?
I won't lie, there's probably maybe 5 or 6 layers.
So this was the first time doing a ladder.
Very first time.
Notice you had a little bit of struggle pulling that off in here.
Because there's no visible ladder pattern on your blade.
Brandon, your blade did not make the cut. Jason will explain.
Well, Brandon, we really appreciate watching you forge out there. You're one of the few smiths we have seen take a very small piece of steel that we didn't think was enough and stretch it out. But the biggest problem is that you do not have a ladder pattern in your blade. And that's why we're sending you home.
Last time I got eliminated, I was hurt. You know, I cried a bit, but I believe the judges made the right decision. The first thing I do when I get home is gonna be the exact same thing I did last time I was here. I'm gonna fire up the forge, and I'm gonna swing that hammer as hard as I can for as long as I can.